What if the Montreal Canadiens, under the guise of calculated confidence, were actually scrambling to offload a ticking time bomb disguised as a diamond in the rough before the clock on a critical financial decision runs out? That's a high-stakes game general manager Kent Hughes is playing right now, as veteran reporter Renaud Lavoie publicly states that the price to pry Kirby Dach from Montreal is high. This is investigative journalism. It's a megaphone for the Habs front office, a deliberate signal to the market that Hughes is trying to create the illusion of holding a valuable asset, when in reality, he's gripping a grenade with the pin already pulled. With the qualifying offer deadline looming in July 2026, the Canadiens are at a crossroads that could define their transition from rebuilding to contending, or trap them in financial quicksand. Let's tear through the public relations narrative and dive into the cold, hard numbers driving this operation in Quebec. Kirby Dach embodies the concept of hypothetical talent. When healthy, his size, playmaking vision, and ability to transition to the neutral zone scream elite NHL center, a perfect second-line pivot 2C, behind Nick Suzuki. The problem is that Dach's health in the NHL is a statistical anomaly. Acquired with fanfare as a redemption project for Hughes' regime, Dach was meant to be the unquestioned 2C to anchor Montreal's future. Yet his biomechanics have failed repeatedly, with injuries derailing his development and limiting his impact. Seasons of promise have been interrupted by stints in the infirmary, turning a potential cornerstone into a question mark. Fast forward to the looming dilemma of July 2026. Hughes will face a piece of paper demanding a signature to authorize a $4 million cap hit, just to retain control of Dach as a restricted free agent RFA via a qualifying offer. For a team meticulously clearing its books to pay the next generation of stars, players like Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Uri Slavkovsky, tying up $4 million in a player who spends more time in the trainer's room than on the ice is a kind of accounting inefficiency that prevents a franchise from leaping from rebuilding team to playoff contender. If Hughes refuses to sign the offer, Dach becomes an unrestricted free agent, UFA, ahead of schedule, and Montreal loses him for absolutely nothing. No return, no cap relief until the deadline passes. Just a void where a high-value asset once stood. This is precisely why the rumor mill has been cranked into overdrive. The leaks about interest from teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs and Los Angeles Kings aren't organic. They're a forced auction tactic. Hughes is banking on the illusion of scarcity, hoping to inflate Dach's perceived value by broadcasting a sky-high price. Through media proxies like Lavoie, what we're witnessing is the classic hockey push game. Hughes is searching for a franchise arrogant enough to believe their medical staff can mend Dach's brittle tendons. If he finds that sucker, he'll package Dach for shipment at lightning speed, celebrating the cap relief as a quiet victory. The exorbitant price narrative is merely lipstick on the corpse of this negotiation, a desperate bid to mask a reality that Montreal isn't in the driver's seat. They're hostages to their own contractual renewal window. Let's break down the raw implications of the standoff. Dach, when on the ice, offers a rare blend of size, 6 feet 4 inches, 212 pounds, and skill that could theoretically make him a dominant 2C, capable of shielding the puck, driving play, and complementing the speed of Caulfield and Slavkovsky. His career-high 38 points in 58 games during the 2022-23 season hint at untapped potential. But the numbers that matter most are the games missed. Over 60 across the past 3 seasons due to various injuries, including shoulder and knee issues. Advanced metrics like his on-ice expected goals for XGF show flashes of brilliance, but his inability to stay healthy renders those stats moot. A $4 million cap hit for a player who can't reliably play 82 games, or even 60, is a luxury the Canadiens can't afford as they prepare for massive extensions to their core in the coming years. From a tactical perspective, Dach's sporadic availability disrupts Martin St. Louis' system, which relies on consistent line chemistry and two-way accountability. A second-line center must anchor offensive production while back-checking with urgency, something Dach struggles to do when hampered by injury or rust. Losing him for nothing as a UFA would be a bitter pill. But committing $4 million annually to a gamble on his health risks handcuffing the team just as their contention window opens. Hughes pushed to trade him now, under the guise of a high price, is a calculated move to extract value, perhaps a mid-round pick or a depth player with a cheaper contract, before the qualifying offer deadline forces a binary choice. The interest from Toronto and LA, if real, suggests Team C Dach as a reclamation project. But Hughes must convince him the reward outweighs the risk without tipping his hand that Montreal is desperate for cap relief. Culturally, this situation is a gut punch to the Canadiens fan base, who embraced Dach as a symbol of the rebuild's ambition when he was acquired. Admitting defeat by letting him walk or trading him at a discount stings, especially for a franchise with a history of nurturing talent through adversity. Think of Carey Price's early injury struggles before becoming a generational star. But the modern NHL is a ruthless business, and sentimentality can't override the salary cap's iron grip. Hughes' leaked narrative of a high price is an attempt to save face, to frame any potential trade as a win rather than a capitulation. If no deal materializes, the decision on the qualifying offer will expose whether the front office truly believes in Dach's upside or views him as a sunk cost. Historically, the Canadiens have faced similar crossroads with injury-prone talents. The 2000s saw players like Saka Koivu battle health setbacks, but his leadership and grit justified the investment. Dach, while skilled, hasn't yet shown that same intangible value to offset his fragility. More cautionary is the case of Alex Galchenyuk, a high draft pick whose inconsistency and eventual trade for minimal return, Max Domi, became a symbol of squandered potential. Hughes must avoid a repeat, balancing the risk of losing Dach for nothing against the cost of overcommitting to a player who may never stay healthy. Looking to the future, the implications of this decision are monumental. Signing the $4 million qualifying offer locks in Dach for another year, preserving the asset, but eating cap space critical for extensions to rising stars and free agent pursuits in July. It's a bet on his health and development, a gamble that could pay off if he finally strings together a full season, or backfire spectacularly if injuries persist, leaving Montreal with dead money as their window tightens. Letting him walk as a UFA frees the cap space immediately, allowing aggressive moves in the summer market for a proven 2C or defensive depth. But admits the original trade was a bust and sacrifices any return on investment. Trading him now, even at a discounted high price, splits the difference. Cap relief and some return, but at the cost of potential if Dach revives elsewhere. There's also the human element. Dach, at just 25, has endured the physical and mental toll of repeated injuries, and his confidence may be shaken by trade rumors and the looming UFA threat. A new team could offer a fresh start, but staying in Montreal with qualifying offer might signal trust from Hughes, potentially reigniting his drive. Hughes must weigh not just the numbers, but the psyche of a player who could still become a cornerstone or a cautionary tale. So, I'm handing the corporate hammer to you. Facing this impasse at Kent Hughes' desk, with no middle ground in sight, what is your strategic verdict? Would you sign the $4 million qualifying offer, swallowing the injury risk and financial weight to avoid admitting the original trade was a mistake, hoping Dach finally delivers on his promise? Or would you take the immediate loss, refuse to issue the offer, let Dach walk as a UFA, and prioritize freeing cap space for real aggression in the July market, even if it means getting nothing in return? This isn't just about a player. It's about financial discipline, roster vision, and the courage to cut losses or double down. Drop your ruling in the comments, and let's debate the path to turning Montreal from a rebuild into a powerhouse. The Bell Center demands clarity, and with the qualifying offer clock ticking, the margin for error is razor thin.